Hi, welcome to another episode of 5-Minute Webology. 5 minutes to get you up to speed with your buyer's brain. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the emotional brain. Now, you could be a coach, a consultant, a course creator, online entrepreneur. But if you don't understand how to make your buyer feel anything for your offer, then you're putting yourself at a huge disadvantage. My name is Rahila. Who am I and what do I do? Well, by education, I'm a biochemist and a psychobiologist, graduated many years ago from UCLA, and I have a Master's of Science in Neuroleadership from the Middlesex University, sponsored by the Neuroleadership Institute. And for over 15 years now, I've been helping organizations grow their businesses through their people. Let's get into our topic for today, the emotional brain. This is one of my favorite topics. Once your message clears the primal brain's filter, it grabs his attention and it passes through, the message travels on to the emotional brain. Now, the emotional brain is going to process that incoming information. It's going to take a look at it and it's going to decide whether that incoming information is potential pain or is potential pleasure. So if incoming information is labeled, classified as threat, the emotional brain triggers the release of neurotransmitters and hormones such as cortisol and adrenaline. And these hormones and neurotransmitters go through the body, creating the sensation of not feeling good. And the intensity of this not feeling good can range from being angry to fear to distrust to sadness. And if the incoming information was interpreted by the emotional brain as being potential reward, it's going to trigger the release of different neurotransmitters and hormones such as dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin. And these neurotransmitters and hormones are going to travel through the body, stimulating the sensation of feelings of joy, happiness, surprise, trust, or anticipation. You want to trigger both of these emotions, however, in the right quantity, in the right sequence, if you want your buyer to take action. Now, this is where people often mess up. They try to avoid triggering threat, thinking that, I don't want my buyer to run away from me, so I'm just going to talk about all the features and benefits and all the great stuff I have to offer. Big mistake. It's not about triggering one emotion over the other. In fact, in order for you to craft a powerful, persuasive message, you want to trigger both of these emotions, pain and pleasure. So how do you do that? Well, it's a two-step process. The first step is you need to understand your buyer's BS. You got to do your homework. By BS, no, it's not what you're thinking. You need to research and find out what are your buyer's fears. What are their pains? What are they scared of? What keeps them up at night? That's the threat trigger. You also need to be aware of what are their hopes? What are their aspirations? What do they seek? What is the solution or the end result that they desire? That is the pleasure. Now, once you know your buyer's BS, you're ready now for step 2. You're going to use those pain points and pleasure points for your buyer in either a story or in a well-crafted dialogue. So first, the story. Choose a character. Your character could be factual or fictional, just as long as the character is someone that your buyer can relate to. It reminds them, he or she reminds them of themselves. Take this character on a journey from being in a state of pain, put in all of those pain points that you now know about your buyer, to being in a state of pleasure, and include all of those pleasure points that you now know about your buyer. The journey from pain to pleasure should be facilitated by what you have to offer, your product or your service. The second way that you can arouse emotions is not a story, but by simply asking questions. Ask your buyer, have you ever felt frustrated, confused, lost, taken advantage of? This is where you're going to list down all of those pain points that you've researched on your buyer. You could also say, don't you hate it when you spend so much money, but you get little in return? You put in so much time and energy to launch your product, but you open up to the sound of crickets. Just by using these words, felt and hate, in the format of a question, immediately your buyer's brain is going to start to experience those specific emotions. So now you've aroused a sensation of pain. You don't want to leave your buyer there. You want to carry them now to the sensation of pleasure. And how you do that is now you ask them to imagine themselves being in their desired pleasurable state. Say something like, wouldn't it be great if? Imagine how it would feel when. So fill in the blanks with your research that you've done on the BS of your buyer. No matter what business you're in, whether you're selling physical products or services, if you don't understand your buyer's brain, then you don't understand anything. What are you waiting for? Get up, go out there, and go stimulate some brains. All the best.